Okay, part three. We're going to go into, every day that you trade, you're not going to always see those heavy double lines of support and resistance. So this section time, we want to show you what to do when you have a day that does not give you that kind of a pattern. Let's take a look at, we're at the Frank again, and we've got this day here. It's a transitioning out of a brief measure that tried to go long, and now it's transitioning its way back to short. Okay, it started consolidation. We've got a Lone Ranger underneath us, not far beneath us, and also we have a reversed bullish takeover. Normally a regular bullish takeover looks like this. This is a reversed bullish takeover. Now the only way this would be a bullish signal is when this would be black and now this is red. This column would have had to have been black and this to be red with this black. Okay, it doesn't happen very often, very rarely. Also, no signals. Okay. What about the RSI? It's down underneath there. It's fairly low. Alright, so we've got this day here. It's trying to transition back to being short, consolidated, got the Lone Ranger underneath. Not a lot to go on in terms of support and resistance levels, but we put them in, and when you put them in, they come out very spaced out. And I've got these trend lines here in advance so that you don't have to watch me draw trend lines. But this is the most important thing when you have these spaced out days. If you're a beginner, don't trade them. If you're good at working with trend lines, you can work with it, but it's not going to be as easy. And you need to pay more. The wider the space is with the lines coming in on your chart, the more you need to pay attention to what QuickView was trying to tell you in terms of the bias. Here it's trying to tell you that we're expecting that this long is not going to be, this move to the long side is not going to hold. It's trying to transition short, and we've got some shorting signals going on with this reversal bull push. That's the reversal bull push bias. So gonna have to walk into this day a little bit on the thinking on the short side. Okay, here oh, okay, back to the chart as terms of when you have this spread out like this. This is the way you approach it. You have to take the areas and group them. This is a group. This is a space, because you'll notice this line is further away from this group. It's separated. Okay, these are equally marked. Okay, and when you see a group, what you're really focusing on are setting alerts when you reach the outer edges. Don't worry so much about what's happening in the middle edge. Okay, remember that's very important. You set your alerts for the outer edges, not the middle line. You don't really worry about this line. Okay, and here's another group here. Okay, and that is a group because there's another gap between here and another line that's down there, but we don't need to worry about that right now. The main thing I want you to see is the fact that you want to work on the outer edges of groups, being able to identify the groups, that they'll be more closely together in terms of space, and then you'll see from the next line. Okay, alright, let me erase some of this, clear up the screen. Let's look at the trend lines. This is what makes it work for you. You have to use the trend lines. You have to use the trend lines. Here we've gone against the grain, reluctantly actually, by getting this close above here. When we started out, this is the beginning of the day, we set a target here and a target here. If you're only trading one contract, as we always say, get out when you got your money. Here you can set to finish out your contracts here. But this is where you really start looking to go short, is after reaching the top of the barrier, which is here. You never reached it until here. Okay, so basically, from a conservative point of view, you would never have been awakened or anything or bothered until here, when it reached this top barrier, because we're thinking short, because we're very biased on the short end. At that point, we do not necessarily take a short at that point, because we have no source or place to point to as a stopping point. Okay, there's no high that's been established that says, okay, it's, you know what, it's not going to break it, until we break the low end of the barrier with a close below that barrier, which would set off an alert. After, in other words, this is the alert that lets us know that we're at the threshold. Now, once that alert has been set, we look for a shorting opportunity with the trend line as well as this close below this barrier, this outer edge of the boundary. The first thing you would do is, when you get this alert, is you would draw the trend line that you see here. Let me clear up the page a little bit. Get the close below the trend line, the breach of the trend line. You're short. Is being aggressive. If you want to be a more conservative, you wait for a close. You set a new alert after getting this alert to get a close below this line here. Alright, clear the page. And then once you get that close, you come in on this candle looking for it to touch back on the trend line. Not the trend line, but the barrier. And short, take a target here and another target here. And as you can see, I mean, we made this cavity here. We can go for this one, and if you got enough contracts left, you can go for this one too. Once again, if all you can trade is one contract, get your money while you can get it. Plain and simple. Here we are at the new barrier. Notice that once we reach or work our way into this new barrier, because we're short, we're looking for a target to reach down near the bottom of that barrier. And before then, by this time, it's the end of the day, and there's nothing left to trade anyway. So basically, in a nutshell, when you have a day like this where it's spread out, if you're a beginner and you're not very good at it and you don't have the experience, leave it alone. Look for one that has a better support resistance levels that are given to you, that are more defined with, okay? And remember to use your trend lines to help you to determine which way we're moving within these barriers, these areas. And remember that this middle one is not the main thing. It's the outer edges of them that we focus on. Okay, hope that helps. This is a little bit more difficult to understand and gather. Oh, by the way, I drew this market profile area here. If you notice that the low that took off to the top of the resistance, once it was broken, it broke through it very quickly, creating the new, this is now creating the new area down here, confirming that for the rest of the day we're looking at short, basically. Alright, that's it for part 3. I hope it helped, and I hope you enjoyed it.